and a 13-year-old high school freshman.
Backtrack.
Dan Houston came with a poem about child abuse. A close friend had been victimized.
60 Minutes changed my life.
That was my true moment of color.
This 13-year-old was discovered by 60 Minutes at a national championship.
Earlier that year, the first measure of an original composition became a life-size autobiography report for school. Dan presented his culminating achievement as writing the essay, "Eagles Born to Walk Can Still Fly," about his differently abled foster brother, Nathan. The act of writing and the writing of others has been a strong influence.
Hey, Mr. God, this is Dan. When I need to ask for advice or need to pray for somebody. Mr. God, this is Anna, the book, which continues to change my life and how I view the world.
When the middle school teacher asked, "What do you think it would be like to choose your own name?" Student Dan Houston said, "It is a statement that I will be who I choose to be." Born Daniel Josiah Houston Glover and called Houston since birth, with $100 saved, Dan convinced a probate judge that his name change to Daniel Josiah Houston was a legal and proper course of action. The teacher had not expected the hypothetical to be a true student story. Bear witness. The story
I spent the first
of Daniel Josiah Houston.
many years of my life learning how to, from my father mostly, become a storyteller. And over the past few years, I've achieved many stories.
Still hold the record for being the youngest access producers.
And at 8 years old, at my first slam, the Daily Cafe, I made a connection. I just had to keep on writing.
Become passionate about so many things so quickly when it catches my interest that I can devote myself to it, excel in it, and then find something different. I have what I like to think of as artistic ADD.
I almost describe Dan as almost super focused.
Dan all the time is making up verses.
It's been very exciting to see someone with his real
Quite
sophistication.
frequently he would mention his dad and having learned things from him and things that he's done, things that he'd like to do, some things that he's missed.
It came out almost, I would read a poem and he would tell me a bit of the story behind it, like just how he came to be where he is in this family and in this house.
At age 5, I stood up in front of my parents, declared my love for the Creator, exclaimed God had called.
He sang me songs about his dad and things that just made me cry, like even before I knew the whole story behind them, just because there's so much emotion behind it.
Like plays, mind games, I say that I'm still saying that there's nothing left but easy. I need to find a way to deal with my venomous rage, so I read a full page.
Your parents should be some of the people you trust most in the world, and with his dad that seemed a little tough.
I think I finally got over it, because I went on stage and I just let it all out and I left it there.
Stage of 5 and a stage of 8,000, for me, mostly is when I perform in front of 5 people, it's a lot harder. There's a lot more fear involved. Especially when performing poetry, intimacy is the thing that you go for. And it's the best of the best performers that can make a crowd of 200 intimate. I've seen Gail Danley perform in crowds of hundreds of people and make me feel like she was talking to me, wrapping her words around my neck like a scarf, like she likes to say. But performing in front of 8,000 people, I just felt like I was a rock star, but I couldn't see any of their faces. And I took away more from every performance with 5 people than I did from that night.
First time I remember, he was sort of the kid. I saw him perform for the first time, and I said, wow.
I broke hell's weapon. It started with a kiss. On back, eyes closed, hands undercover missions, my fingers full of red hair. Then we hit that pothole, you bit my lip, and I knew right at the moment. It's about taking that moment in my life, putting it in your lap, and you hold on to it, pet a little bit, give it back.
And then I watched it develop a little bit at a time. I'd noticed some incredible changes.
My first focus when I do songwriting with a student is poetry. Dan already had all that base.
She has made one of the biggest impacts on my life in letting me learn to express myself and giving me the courage to develop myself. At school, I had my 15 minutes of fame and, you know, getting ragged on by my boys and my friends with their testosterone-filled hearts for having that side of me. And just stuck with me for the rest of high school. I was ready for college. I was ready for a change. Change. Constant. Every 4 months, I do something silly like shave my head, get a tattoo. I change the necklace around my neck every 6 months to a year, or every time there's a car crash and it gets imprinted on my chest. I believe that stagnation is the only true form of death.
We did survive, made it out alive. Maybe God did show at the playground.
A sense of fame that I wasn't ready for. I can't say I'm worse off for it because I don't know. I believe that I handled it the best way I could have. I spoke with the integrity that I feel was exceptional for being 13, and I did the best to uphold my community of artists and myself as true writers and true poets. 60 Minutes changed my life.